All right, welcome back to another video. So we have the No.bo, all right? No, not just any No.bo. We have the No.bo with the Beast Mode package, okay? So, Beast Mode package, 4 tires, 4 independent suspensions, okay? So, I have the Dodge Ram here today. If you want to know a little bit more information about that Ram, what's pulling this No.bo, I have that link at the bottom of the video as well. But, let's get into the No.bo. So, I'm going to show you how to take the tires off, what it takes to take the tires off, and actually what it takes to change the tire, and what it actually takes to lift the Beast Mode package off the ground. Now, there's not a lot of information out here, so let's stay tuned, see what you can learn. This is a very short video. Here we go. This is it already lifted off the ground, but I'm going to do one better. I'm going to take you back 3-4 steps and show you how we actually got it off the ground. Here we go. You take your jack, all right? Oh, so slightly. It's all about this control arm here. You see how it's compressing? So as you jack it up, it compresses, and it slowly lifts the tire off the ground. Now, this is the only way I have been able to actually successfully get this thing off the ground. I spent 3 hours at home. It took me going to get my, not just any jack, my low-profile jack. And the reason why you want a low-profile jack, I'm going to show you here in a second why you want a low-profile jack. But this is him, oh so slightly. Once you compress that control arm, it puts that pressure on the coil spring, and she takes off. She lifts up. You have to do each one independently, because if you do one, as you've seen, the other one will not come off the ground. It's the way it's designed on purpose. All right, so I know what you're thinking. Well, I'll use a bottle jack. Let's get into a bottle jack and why a bottle jack will not work. Here we go. This is a bottle jack. This bottle jack is 8.5 inches the way it sits before you let it out. Now, once it has been let out, it can go all the way up to 17 inches. But as you see here, the tire is fully inflated, and the bottle jack is not getting up underneath this control arm. Now, they do have an adapter you can put on top of the bottle jacks to make it, so you get a good grip on that control arm. But the problem is not that. The problem is we're 8.5 inches right now, bottle jack, but we're on 8 inches off the ground. That's not going to work. We can't get underneath there. Now, if we can't get underneath that, how do we get it up? We don't. The bottle jack is not any good. Look at this. This is 5.5 inches of tire right now. At 5.5 inches of tire, okay? 5.5 inches of tire. Now, if that 5.5 inches tire goes flat, or you have a blowout, you're 8 inches from 5 inches, or 5.5 inches. You're 3 inches, 2.5 inches, maybe 3.5 inches if you left some rubber, if the rubber was still on the tire when it went flat. But you have no way of getting that control arm. That control arm is going to be somewhere between 3 to 4 inches down, in a down position. That's pretty low. Not only because you see what you have to do here is you need to be able to compress this coil spring. It has to be able to put enough pressure on the control arm that the coil spring actually compresses itself, and that's how you get the tire to lift off the ground. A crank jack will work because it can get underneath there, but a crank jack is not going to get enough height on it to be able to compress it. And it's going to be quite difficult. Crank jacks are quite difficult to crank up. Let's know I'm trying to compress a control arm that's compressing a coil spring, a beefy one at this, because these things they're beefy because the trailer weighs quite a bit. So bottle jack will not work. The only way I've come up with and has been able to figure this thing out is a low profile jack. Now, if you figure out something better, or an easier way, or a safer way, because we all know we're going to be beside the road swapping the tire one day. It's not if, it's more when. Let me know. So here we go. We're going to get back into it. He has a nice, impact air drill gun here on a battery. So if you're not willing to go out and spend $100 or $200 to get a cheap one or to get a good one, then we're going to all have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is going to be a breaker bar, torque bar, or something that you can get a socket in, but not just any socket. Take a look here. This is a deep socket, okay? But not just any deep socket. This is a thin 19mm socket. And the reason why you need a thin 19mm socket and not just any socket at a 19mm is because the way the rims are designed, the little nuts actually sit off inside the rim. So your socket is going to have to be able to go off inside there. So a 4-way lug wrench will not work. And only socket, you're going to need a deep socket, but it needs to be a 19mm thin one so it can actually get inside the rims without scratching them up and get the little nut off. Now, this is it. This thing is lifted off the ground. All 4 tires are lifted off the ground. I'm at the tire shop, and look, the safe way they was able to do it was to put 4 jacks on it. Now, you can get a lot more safety and technical with it, but it took 4 jacks to get this whole thing off the ground, just because each one is independent. So a lot more work goes into the beast mode. Now, this is the wheel with the tire off of it, okay? Now, you're saying, okay, what is he doing? What is that? That is what we all have if we have the TPS monitoring system that comes with it from the factory. It is a monitoring system that has a band on it. And the reason why it has the band on it is because that's the way they put it. That's the more efficient way to put it. Now, on Amazon and online, you can buy ones that screw on with that, right there at your stem. That's not a good one. This is why they put this one on. It's a band. Not only is it wrapped around, it gets a better reading on the air, but it's touching the rim, so it gets the best reading possible when it comes down to temperature, because that's what it tells you, temperature. Now, these are a 1/2 inch by 20 inch lug nuts that I have. So if you screen, you may need to know that just in case you lose one. But double check yours. But mine was a 1/2 inch by 20. Now this is a better look once again at that control arm. See how that low profile is able to hold on to that? That's a nice plate, nice size plate sitting right there on that control arm. The reason why you need a low profile, because once again, remember, we're going to be 3 to 4 inches off the ground once we do get a flat. So we need something that can slide underneath their low profile. Now, this is highly debated in the community, but I did balance my tires. I like all my tires to be balanced, even when they're trailer tires. Definitely, I balance my trailer tires. So, there you go. Now, if you're wondering why we're even bothering with the tires or what led to this, that's a great video, and it's coming out this week, so stay tuned. Now, pay attention here on this one. Once he put it back, he didn't go for the gun. He's hand tightening these lug nuts. Now, see how they're sticking out right now? I'm gonna get you a better angle. See how they're sticking out? Okay, all right. Now, they're sticking out now, and he's hand tight them all. He's putting them all back on there hand tight. Okay. I see it. All right. Then he takes the gun, the drill gun, and go to the right, then he goes immediately across to the left, immediately to the bottom, and immediately to the top. And then remember, it's a 6 lug pattern. Then he goes around. He's not trying to tighten them down tremendously or anything, just enough to hold it on there. Okay. Now what he did do was he forgot to put my center cap. So at this point, I'm telling him, hey, you forgot my center cap. So take it back off with the center cap. So there they are. That's how they look when they're back on. As you see, that lug nut actually sits inside the rim, and that's the reason why you need a thin 19 millimeter. Now, here we go. These are torque specs, 5/8 or halves. Everyone's going to be different. This is a half. That reads somewhere between the 90 to 120 pounds. We're putting them down at 115. That's what we put them. That's what we put these at. Put yours down however you see fit, but we're going 115 on the.
It's designed to help eliminate road shock by allowing each wheel to move up and down independently, giving it flexibility to adapt to road conditions, and keeps your trailer more